And we're going to move on down the agenda here. Item 2 is the approval of the agenda. Item 2.1 will be changes to agenda and approval of agenda. Section 3, we have no recognitions. Section 4, no visitors. Section 5, we do have 2 appointments on Monday night. 5.1 will be the appointment of Assistant Principal 1, 12-month to Crestview High School. And then 5.2 is the appointment of Specialists of Student Services. 6.1 is public comment. Members of the public desiring to address the school board, Form MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items. 7 is committee and staff reports. 7.1 is in-county travel paid for the period of July 7th through the 20th, 2022. And 7.2 is out-of-county travel paid for the period of July 7th through the 20th, 2022. And then 7.3 is a quarterly progress report of the Sales Tax Citizens Oversight Committee. And I believe Mr. Belcher will be here Monday night to talk about that. And we'll move down to Section 8. This is the consent agenda. 8.1 will be the approval of the consent agenda. 8.2, approval of the minutes of the workshop meeting of July 1st, 2022, minutes of regular meeting of July 25th, 2022. 8.3, appropriation of District 1 School Board member capital outlay funds to Shalimar Elementary School for a new brick front entry sign in the amount of $10,000, presented by the Honorable Dr. Lamar White. 8.4, the appropriation of District 2 School Board member capital outlay funds for Shalimar Elementary School for a new brick front entry sign in the amount of $2,500, presented by the Honorable Marty Gardner. And then 8.5, appropriation of District 3 School Board member capital outlay funds to Shalimar Elementary School for a new brick front entry sign in the amount of $5,000, presented by the Honorable Linda Abanchek. And 8.6, appropriation of District 4 School Board member capital outlay funds to Shalimar Elementary for a new brick front entry sign in the amount of $2,235, presented by myself. And then 8.7, and all 5 of us contributed to this project, so that's a show of teamwork there. Appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds to Shalimar Elementary School for a new brick front entry sign in the amount of $2,235, presented by the Honorable Dr. Diane Kelly. 8.8, request to advertise a public hearing for the adoption of instructional materials for secondary science and career and technical education, reproductive health and disease education for the 2022 through 2023 school year.
Mr. Bryant,
yes, ma'am.
Understanding these materials are the same materials we have been using. This is just to be in compliance with the House bill that each year we do have to bring this forward.
Yes.
And these materials are online if an individual would like to go preview this.
All right.
This is there, but no changes, or it's really nothing new there.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yes,
Yes.
it's required every year.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there was a CTE section added because there was a new section,
Mhm.
but other than that, yes,
It's all,
everything is
but
the
just
same.
due to the House bill, it comes up yearly.
Every year.
Every
Right.
year, okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner. Thank you, Ms. Lightbourne. 8.9, budget amendment number 10, fiscal year 2021 through 2022. 8.10, monthly financial statement for June 2022. 8.11, invoices to be approved for payment. 8.12, tag-on bid purchase over $25,000, Alertus Technologies, LLC. 8.13, tag-on bid purchase over $25,000, WTI. 8.14, tag-on bid purchase over $25,000, AMN Allied Services, LLC. Career Staff Unlimited, Community Rehab Associates Incorporated, Innovative Employee Solutions Incorporated, Princeton Staffing, Jackson Therapy Partners, and Salient Healthcare, LLC. 8.15, tag-on bid purchase over $25,000, Comprehensive Therapy, Kids Talk Place, and the Stepping Stones, LLC. 8.16, sole source purchase over $25,000, SS number 23-05, Teachtown. 8.17, sole source purchase over $25,000, Florida Transformative Education. 8.18, service agreement number 23-46, Brent Purcell. 8.19, service agreement number 23-47, Brent Purcell. 8.20, service agreement number 23-48, Denise DeCari. 8.21, service agreement number 23-50, Brent Purcell. 8.22, Okaloosa County School District bus routes for the 2022 through 2023 school year. And all that information is online at this time, and
Yes, sir. We've got a link to the Daily News online version, and we'll do a call out at the end of this week reminding parents that they've got time to go look those routes out, and certainly they can always reach out to their schools for information
Okay.
as well.
And Mr. Horton, would you mind just reminding the public again the app that they can use that will help them with the bus routes?
Yes, sir. We have an app that is posted on our website, and so when parents learn their bus number for their students, they can go on and register to get real-time updates on the buses. So if there's a delay, which is likely to happen the first few weeks of school,
Right.
as students and staff get used to new procedures, that they'll be able to sign up and they'll get a text alert if a bus is going to be 15 minutes late or 30 minutes late, depending on the situation. So we encourage our folks to do that, and that'll be included in our call-out.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, 8.23, 2022 through 2023 vehicle maintenance and repair agreement with vehicle lease option between the Okaloosa School Board of between the School Board of Okaloosa County and Liza Jackson Preparatory School Incorporated. 8.24, sale and disposal of surplus property. 8.25, Okaloosa County School District 2022 through 2023 pupil progression plan.
Mr. Bryant, I spoke with Ms. Lightbourne and I asked would she come up and kind of just do a quick overview about the pupil progression plan and maybe what's being added and.
And board members, you should have got an email from Mr. Palmer yesterday, I believe it was. So,
He's got a new grandbaby. Paul, his son Paul Allen had
Yeah.
a baby boy. So,
Congratulations.
Where he
Yeah.
needs to be.
yeah.
That's awesome.
The one thing that I wanted to address with the board that I thought was important for everyone to understand is the new progress monitoring assessment from the state is required. So that is in pupil progression that we do have to do it. What we do know about that assessment for this year is we will only be getting a level, so a level 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then a scale score. That is all we will get from that assessment. So we are continuing to do iReady for multiple purposes. So I have shared with many teachers, I went and met with the union the other day, that when we take that test, I like to compare it to going to the doctor and saying, I don't feel good, and they do a blood test and they say, yeah, your white blood cell count is up, so you're sick. So that's what the progress monitoring test is going to tell us.
That would be your level 1, basically.
Could be a level 1
Yeah,
or level 2.
But it doesn't go
Right.
into
And
specifics as the.
correct. So then I go back to the doctor says, let me do some more tests to see what's really wrong. And so they do more tests, which is what iReady will be. And iReady then will tell us exactly what's wrong and then give us the prescription to help us get better. So I did have a teacher ask me, well, what if my students are all already proficient when they take the progress monitoring test? Well, that's wonderful, and I hope that we do start the year that way. However, even in that situation, we want to do iReady because we want to see how much above grade level they are so that we're not teaching them information they already know. So again, it's about prescribing for our students the path that they need to take. Also in iReady, we must take the iReady assessment for students to get on their instructional path so that they can actually get into the program and use it. So if we didn't take that assessment, we couldn't use the program instructionally as well. So there's lots of components as to why we are doing some of the things we're doing. It may only be for a year or two until the new progress monitoring assessment starts giving us more information. But the progress monitoring assessment is only going to tell us where we are on grade level. So on grade level, I'm not doing well, I might be a level 1. iReady's going to tell me if I'm in 4th grade, I'm actually performing at a 2nd grade level, and I need to do these things to get to that 4th grade level. So it's going to give me more information. Okay?
So how often are we doing these instruments that are monitoring the progress?
So the state requires the progress monitoring test is 3 times a year. So we'll take it in August. It opens August 17th and goes through September 30th.
So that's like the baseline, kind of where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the progress monitoring assessment. We open the same window for iReady. And so our teachers can begin to do iReady so that they can get their students on their instructional path as well. Then the state assessment, we're supposed to have, once it is turned into the state, we're supposed to have information back within 2 weeks. But iReady will be immediate.
Right, because they have that right there on there.
And both will be done 3 times a year,
And so then you do like a mid and then
a
at the end.
post. Mhm.
Okay,
And the post is still connected to accountability for 3 through 10. So it's still connected to 3rd grade promotion or retention. It's still connected to graduation requirements.
credits and all that. So is this eliminating some of the testing that teachers have to do, or is this really more, but it's,
So the way I would say is that the 3, so we never had 3
Right,
tests from the
right.
state before. We only had the 1 at the end. Hopefully, at a certain point, it will give us enough information that we can pull iReady back and only use iReady for students who are struggling. But currently, we don't have that ability because it's really not giving us enough information. I go to also, if I'm a level 5 on that assessment, then I don't know as a teacher, well, maybe they're in 2nd grade, but they're performing on a 4th grade level. So I need to enrich them beyond the 2nd grade material. So I don't have that in that new assessment right now.
Yeah. But one thing that it stopped is those days of, everybody stop, we're gonna all take a test kind of thing. And, right, because the teacher does it in class, is that right?
So it'll be done, yes, but in the elementary level
Right.
because we're 1-to-1.
Right.
So it's easier to accomplish. They'll likely do it in their grade level, but they will choose a day likely that they'll do each grade level.
Okay.
In order to do that. The iReady is done in class, so that can be done, you can do a group today, another group tomorrow, you can figure out how to do that, yes.
Okay.
But just-
Yeah,
Go ahead,
good. I
finish.
was just gonna say one thing, and everything has gone to the best standards, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, ELA,
Uh-huh,
math.
right,
Social studies and science are not best standards.
okay, all
They
right.
were Sunshine State standards. Now they're Florida State
Fast.
academic standard. It's another new acronym. The standards haven't changed. They just changed the name because people were getting confused that they were still
Right.
Sunshine State standards.
Yeah, and they come-
But those
okay.
are still the same standards that we've had for many, many, many years. They never converted to FSA in
Right.
those, right? So
Right.
those are the same, but the best standards are ELA and math.
And essentially, they're mostly the same, just,
There's a significant difference.
Oh, okay.
Anything that was Common Core-like has been removed.
right,
And then there are differences in where certain things are taught, so what grade level certain things
Right,
are taught.
uh-huh.
There's some differences. So
Okay.
there are some significant differences, but our
Okay.
teachers are being trained on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's our role, is getting into those standards, digging deep. If you ever get a chance, I mean, one of the best documents that I think came out of DOE is called the Big M document.
Okay.
Which is the math document. It goes from kindergarten up through geometry, and it is extremely detailed and gives lots of information on each standard, what the questions might look like,
Oh, okay, good.
and how they would be tested. Lots of really, really good information that our
and
teachers
so
will have.
parents could access that?
Yeah, it's on the state website.
Yeah, okay, good, great.
It's on the DOE website.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Ms. Gardner, did you?
I was just gonna say that, just the word itself, progress monitoring, when that was mentioned, progress monitoring is something we have been doing, but that's those little pre-test, pop test, those little tests all along to know if the students are ready
Right.
to move on. So just that term in itself is ongoing assessments.
Correct.
That we need to remember.
Yes.
That's what we have now.
Yes.
And real quick, you were mentioning earlier about, Ms. Van Scheck asked about the data that was going to be collected off of this. Of course, this is the start. So as we continue, the data will come in, and this will help probably for students even into next year. We'll start getting some real-time data back, and that's going to.
So this year, the state is using this as a baseline
Right.
year, right? Because we've not taken this assessment, it's a different assessment. So the state will use it as a baseline. And then once they do that, then they'll set their, what really is these cut scores and so on. Right now, they're correlating them with FSA.
Right.
To give us levels and to give us some information back, but this will be the main baseline year for
Right.
them.
Okay.
Okay, writing also, just because this, everybody probably needs to know this, writing is also a baseline year. So they are only going to do some schools, but we believe most schools, because there's so many prompts, so everybody's preparing for that. But writing is a baseline year, and we will not get anything back on the students who do take the writing. We will not get scores back on that, because they'll be actually setting their cut scores and so on from those examples of student writing.
And that will just be in one test, there will not be. a
Correct, it's
couple-
one test, and it
test
will
only.
not, it will be a separate
Just a
score on
baseline.
the school grade. It will not be combined with ELA any longer. So those of us who have been around a long time, it'll go back to like how FCAT was, where you had a ELA grade and a writing grade or score. That's how it will be,
Good.
Good. Good.
okay?
Thank you, Ms. Lightbourne.
All right.
Any other questions? All right, so now we'll move down to 8.26, and this is the request to approve the renewal of the charter between the School Board of Okaloosa County and Okaloosa Academy Incorporated, and request to advertise for a public hearing to be held on August 22nd, 2022 for the approval of the charter school renewal contract.
You see Dr. Choice is here and also Mr.
Yeah,
Sampson.
and
I'm
Smith,
sorry.
all of them, yeah.
All of, yes, Dr. Smith, Mr. Smith there. But just, Dr. Choice, thank you for this overview. It was very nicely done, chapter by chapter, so that we can see what's been added to it. So I just wanted to say thank you for providing those details for us, and welcome to
Yeah.
others.
And Mr. Sampson, I was going to give you an opportunity if you want to introduce Mr. Schmidt there and what his position is going to be at the academy, and if there's anything you'd like to talk about the academy.
Come on up.
Yeah.
And they're here in case you have any questions
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the renewal
Yeah.
contract
Right.
or about their program.
Right.
Like I said, Dr. Choice did a very nice job for us to go through chapter by chapter, so.
Right.
Yes, thank you. I'm very honored to introduce David Smith. Many of you know David Smith. He was the principal at Walton Academy for the last 6 years. He's now the new principal at Okaloosa Academy. Will do an excellent job, and we're real excited to have him here and to be here. And thank you for supporting the academy. It's been in existence since the late 90s. It was the third charter approved in the state of Florida, so it's been around a long time.
Right.
And so, but we appreciate all the support. Mr. Chambers and all his staff are very supportive of the academy anytime we have any questions or needs. So thank you for
Well,
the
we-
school board, and we're really excited to have Mr. Smith with us.
Right. Mr. Schmidt, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, out the gate, I just appreciate the support from Ms. Dell at Title I to Dr. Choice and all of y'all's support. Just really appreciate it.
Right.
The students that we have the same student IDs from the previous school they came to, and we're all in this together to get them across the stage.
Right.
The ultimate goal is to increase the graduation rate and to get them connected to some purposeful, productive post-secondary plans. And by all of us working together, and with y'all's support and the others that have already shown support to me and the academy, I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Well, as you said, these are all of our children.
Right.
Yeah, and it's great to be able to have that facility and that program so that we can keep students in school, because there was a time when they would, might have to just get out, and that's, and I was just curious, do you work with CTE stuff much over there, or that curriculum at the academy?
We do. We've already started conversations with Mr. Williams as well, and working on updating the articulation agreement so we can continue to have a pipeline, very similar to like how we've had at the Emerald Coast Technical College. But yeah, CTE as well as the technical school will be a pipeline of putting talent inside of those certification programs, so that our industries need them, as well as the technical college need them, and Okaloosa Academy needs that as well.
Right.
So do you have
Whole
any
bunch of it.
programs right there at your facility that students get involved in there, or are they strictly going over to OTC?
Correct. They would be. We don't have any
Right,
on-site,
right.
Wood shop or welding or any of those type of
Right.
things that they have over there. Cosmetology and culinary, all the stuff that's already set up that the system has created.
Okay.
Instead of recreating that, we just want to continue to enhance that relationship with that
Right.
technical college to dual enroll as well. I mean, our students are, if they are qualified with that GPA, can go over there, as well as Northwest Florida State College.
So are they
too.
already probably involved in those programs when they come to you, or is that something you might look at and say they might fit into, or let them choose a program, especially the older?
Yeah, hopefully a little bit of both. I mean,
Okay.
hopefully they're already involved in those things before they got to us, but if not, we're gonna get them involved, because a lot of those things is what gives them some substance to keep showing back up and maybe do those 4 core subjects that they
That's
weren't
what I was
super
gonna say.
excited
This
about.
might be like you said, a pipeline for these students to be successful
That's it.
versus, a more traditional situation.
That's it, that's it.
So
And
that's
they're
good.
Close enough proximity-wise that if you had to provide transportation or something, that it's,
Yeah.
That's it.
location is nice. close.
Yeah, and our industries need them.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And we're finding a lot of student interest also.
Mhm.
I think we talked about our graduation rate. Can't speak this morning either, it's you.
Right.
That because of the high numbers that we have students graduating, that maybe these students being involved in CTE, they're finding that interest, so hopefully their students will find that interest
Yeah.
also.
And they're very already skilled towards some of those things because of some of the environments they've already been in, just through living in different rural areas or other things that when they get over there, they also are avoiding that average student loan debt that is crippling a lot of people. But yeah, they're able to get a career in a year, go over there and get certified. Everybody wins. The students are interested, the industries are interested,
Even
and
our
the
students
technical
in
college is
school, and
interested as
there's,
well.
excellent pay out there now.
That's right.
for these
So we're glad to have you in Okaloosa.
Thank y'all for the support.
Yeah.
I know it's been a few years since I've been out there, but I mean, Mr. Sansom gave me a great tour the time I came out there. A lot of great things that are happening out there. And what's so great about it is they're getting that attention that they need, and, giving them opportunities to explore those other career opportunities out there. And once you get something in their hands that's going to be productive, hopefully that will keep them from going down the path they were going. So, but, I know y'all run a great program out there, so.
I saw you have open house on Monday, so I might pop my head in on Monday to just become better familiar with it. So
Anytime.
look forward
All
to
right.
it.
Thank you.
All right, so now 8.27 is the agreement between the School Board of Okaloosa, between the School Board of Walton County and the School Board of Okaloosa County to provide ESE services to eligible Walton County services. And I know Ms. Art isn't in here, but this is actually where we actually have students from Walton County that come over to Okaloosa County, whether it be at Silver Sands or Richburg. So this is a great agreement that we have with them, and it helps those students get the services that they need, so.
Well, and that's true that Walton County does not have an ESE program.
That's correct.
My understanding.
Wait, Walton County has no ESE?
No, this is what this is.
Right, this is why we.
Okay.
They have ESE, they
Right.
don't have a summer school.
Right.
Senator, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Summer Sands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Richburg.
And 8.28, State of Florida Voluntary Pre-Kindergarten Education Program Statewide Provider Agreement for fiscal year 2022 through 2023. And then 8.29 is the Okaloosa County School District 2022 through 2023 Kindergarten Report Card. And now we'll move down to Section 9, and this is Superintendent's Human Resource Recommendations. 9.1 is employees on administrative leave. 9.2 is Deferred Retirement Option Program. And then 9.3 is the addendum to the master contract between the School Board of Okaloosa County and the Okaloosa Education Staff Professionals. And Dr. Hale, did you have anything you want to say about that real quick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning,
Yes.
everyone.
Morning.
I would just like to first of all say that we have now completed negotiations with both the bargaining units for the school district, and all the ratifications are going to be set as we go into the school year, so that there will be all the new contract numbers, the new salary numbers and everything. They'll get to the employees' paychecks sooner rather than later, as opposed to the way that negotiations go in several of the other districts across the state. We have a very healthy relationship with both of our unions. I'm proud to say that Mr. Strong and I were able to come to an agreement last week with regard to the support contract. It was a good, rigorous program, healthy. I believe that our relationship is just as good as it was going in on the other side of it, but we both have a job to do. And I think the employees will be excited with the salary upgrades and changes that we were able to make with Ms. Perry's help, and her group over at Finance did a great job. And we provided the ratification information for you there, but just without going into all of the details, we're very excited to say that, in accordance with the General Appropriations Act, we were able to bring all employees, upon ratification and upon your approval, all employees in the district will have no less than $15 per hour. And most of them will have more as they progress through the STEP program and things like that. And not only were we able to accomplish that, but we were able to give the current employees a step raise if they were above that 15. And we were able to improve the salary schedule 1.1% across the board. So that's a pretty nice raise for the support employees, and they're worth it because they do a hard job. They support our students. Our schools operate because of them. And they are worthy of exactly what we were able to do for them, and we are proud to be able to do that for them. There are a few language items that are not altogether meaningful or meaty, as we would say, and that's provided for you as well. But I did want to take the opportunity to not only tell you that we were able to accomplish in a good and productive way, we were able to take care of the employees, and we were able to continue to work with our union to make sure that our employees are taken care of to the best that they can, and we know that that ultimately impacts instruction and students. So thank you, Mr. Strong, for your work, and I'm happy to answer any other questions that you might have.
Well, I think unfortunately this is great. I'm going to start positive, but unfortunately for our district, I think everybody's suffering with this and trying to, how do you have an attractive salary at the start of, coming in, and yet make those who are here continue to do that. And it's very hard with the limited funds, it's out of our control. So I know that on this side, you're working with that as well and trying to balance that. Certainly we all understand that if you've been doing a job successfully for 10, 15 years, you don't want to make the same amount as someone coming into the job. But
Right.
We're having to balance one, legal things that we have to do, like you just said, and make that, and then of course the actual resources we have to fund all these pieces. So I appreciate that you looked at, so as we kind of say, everybody got something, and that's always good. I'm sure you and Mr. Strong, everybody would say it's not exactly where we'd love to be. Just the same with the we'd love to give everybody more, but I think this is the best we can do, and it's not just giving up. I think it's very respectable and a good starting point. And I didn't know if Mr. Strong wanted to make a comment about that, and because I know it's been a real challenge, and and our hands are tied on a lot of it.
Yeah, certainly, Board and Superintendent and Mr. Horton, thank you so much. I just want to say I appreciate this year. It's hard to say any more than Dr. Hale has, but I will, noteworthy, I think, is the recognition of experience this year. So that's something that I think will add to us, because we can actually recognize all the experience that our current employees have and the incoming employees. So that might give us a little edge that we didn't have before. But certainly I appreciate this year and what you've done, and we sharpen our skills a little bit more every year at the table. So,
That's
thank you.
great.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate everybody who's worked
Yeah.
on it. Looks great.
All right.
It's nice walking into a new school year and this is settled and it's not something that's
Mhm.
going on
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
as school continues. So
Yeah,
both
and
sides, thank you for,
Just a reminder, ratification is the 12th.
Right.
We'll be
Mhm.
doing that on the 12th, and Julie has said if we can do it that day, we'll have it in the August paycheck, so I think it's
Oh,
great.
that'd be great.
I know there's been years that it didn't go quite as well, and it was
Next year.
December and January before we could get things settled, so it's nice that both sides are working to help our employees.
And everything's retro to July 1, right?
Right.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hale. Thank you, Mr. Strong. Thank you, board members, for the questions. And so now we'll go to 9.4, and this is the request to double fill the principal, Okaloosa Technical College. 9.5, cleared certification requirements and issuance of contracts for the 2022 through 2023 school year. 9.6, out-of-field report for the 2022 through 2023 school year. 9.7, employment separations. 9.8, personnel recommendations. 9.9, employee transfers. And then 9.10 is leave without pay. Section 10 is discussion agenda. At this time, we have no items that have been moved from the consent agenda. Again, that can always change before we get to the meeting on Monday night. And then Section 11 is construction program owners representatives business. And Mr. Horton, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. We'll have our construction program meeting Monday morning of the board meeting Monday night. And so Dr. Kelly, I'm sure will give a full report and update at that time Monday night.
All right, thank you, sir. Section 12, Information Technology Seat Management Contract, we have no business under there. Section 13, Attorney's Business, Mr. McInnes.
No report this morning.
Okay, thank you, sir. Section 14, Superintendent's Business. 14.1 is out-of-state student trip request. And 14.2, Mr. Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Horton, we'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, and I'll be very brief. Mr. Chambers is with his daughter at college today, and so orientation was a couple of weeks ago, but today's actually the drop-off date. So wishes he could be here, but I certainly understand that. So a couple of things I wanted to mention, and first just kind of piggybacking off of what Mr. Strong said about this agreement. And he said it, but I want to make sure it doesn't go under the radar. So being able to accept years of experience for incoming and support employees in like work out in the field. So, in the maintenance area, for example, if we've got the need for an electrician or an HVAC person, which we do often, sometimes we've been handicapped because we can't give them all the experience that they're bringing from the field. So to be able to do that is very important. I think it puts us at a competitive advantage. And I think some of the things we're doing, we're already seeing impact as going forward. So that's very important. The other things I would say, people always look at me for enrollment. So I've got a little bit of enrollment information, and the number that I'm going to give you now is going to change 2 seconds from now. So it's always estimate. But I went and looked yesterday, including our charter schools, we're about 32,700.
Wow.
So we'll go beyond that, I'm sure, over the next few days.
Now,
And
you
certainly
said
those.
32,000, that's everybody that's registered, whether it's
That's all.
online, everything.
That's all registered folks. There's probably even a few more that are in the unsubmitted application piece through our Focus portal. But I say that and I caution folks, rosters swell. And so when our teachers are now all back today for the first time that all of them are back for pre-planning, they might see a number of students in their classroom, and those are names and those are registrations, but they're not necessarily warm bodies, because we know there's always a percentage of families who have registered with us but then moved away.
Right.
And so we'll be going through that process the first 10 days of school to identify those folks who maybe didn't show up, reach out to them and find out what their plans ended up being. And so that's a process we work through the first 10 days of school to get some true numbers.
Did you say that includes charters?
It does, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It includes our public charter schools.
Okay.
So the other thing I would say is continuing to invite our parents to register for a parent account in Focus. I think by last check, we had over 6,000 parent accounts set up, which is great. It's still available on our website with a video how-to, and it allows them to connect their parents, the parents connect their students to their account. So it's going to be, the rollout of Focus is occurring. Teachers are able to see their class rosters today. We do have a district-wide professional development on the 8th, but we did offer training this summer to teachers. Paid training and gradebook managers were selected at each school. So we have a large number of teachers, I think 800 or so, that have already received a round of training. So I think they're all excited to get in and take a look at it. And my own son is a teacher, so I kind of sanity checked myself in terms of what it looks like, and he said it's understandable, and we're going to make it through. So that's all I've got.
Okay, so we'll move down to board members' announcements and requests for information. And today I'll start with Dr. White.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And this is the time of year that I remember how grateful I am to all of our teachers and administrators and principals and support staff and district staff for the hard work that they're doing getting prepared to start off school. So I just wanted to express my appreciation to all of them, and I hope they have a great start to the new school year.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Vanchek?
Yes. Well, I just came from, that's why I was a little bit late. I just came from visiting with the Baker faculty this morning. They were having breakfast, and I thought I would find a lot of bleary-eyed, dragging people. They were ready to go and fired up and excited. They got my energy up, so it was really exciting to see them, and the teachers always come through and everybody. So it was great to see my Baker folks. And speaking of that, this week I was invited to attend a town hall at Baker School because Baker is an area that's growing, and so they were having a community meeting about trying to find a way to manage that growth, like other places. So the north end of our county, of course, is booming, and it was very interesting to hear the comments from the people who live there, and ultimately, part of that would influence the school and enrollment, and of course, we don't always know those parameters, but it's very interesting to be a part of that process and hearing, of course, the county commissioner, Nathan Boyles, was there, and some others, and to hear what those individuals had to say about growth and the coming and going in Baker, so that was interesting. Also want to say, we're football, believe it or not, will be right around the corner. In fact, I was talking to the coaches this morning, and they go into pads starting Monday. But one thing interesting about Baker's schedule this year, it'll be historic in that Baker will be playing Destin High School, which will be the inaugural year for the Destin High School to have football. So that'll be interesting. Also wanted to say that appreciate everybody who participated in Stuff the Bus last weekend. It was throughout the county. There were all kinds of places. Very successful. People are very generous, amazingly generous, buying not only for their own children, for others, and those that don't have children in school anymore coming out with that. And I was very impressed. I was at the Fort Walton Beach Walmart, and it was hot, but it was worth being there because that means so much to, it's so important that those students go back feeling that pride of having those supplies, and many just cannot do that. So I appreciate everyone who did that. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vancheck. And Ms. Carter.
Just to piggyback off of Dr. White and Ms. Vancheck, I was out just visiting a couple of schools, talking to teachers, not principals. They do not want to. They do not want you to bother them. But just the excitement of the teachers, the electricity that's in the air, it just gives you that same excitement with them, and hearing how their summer went and concerns that they have for the year coming up. But they moved right on past, and they're looking at their class rosters and looking at getting those bulletin boards ready, and it's just great to see the excitement right there. I listening to the weather report, and I see Mr. Meyer right there. It's next week. They're looking for it to be in the mid-90s again, and I know our air conditioners will be going, and because there's nothing worse than hot teachers. And no, so
Nothing worse than hot
everything,
teachers.
Yeah, everything is going to be up and going. But when I saw that this morning, I went, well, great. It's going to be a hot week starting out school. But just excited to get a new year underway, and just again that electricity that's in the air is contagious.
And those shiny floors,
Oh my gosh, those floors are just
shiny floors.
Our custodians, our maintenance individuals have been working really hard to prepare those schools, and a lot of positive that's going on.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner. And I'll just finish up by echoing what Ms. Gardner was saying. I had an opportunity to visit a few schools up in the North End this week, and it is a different feeling this year. I think everybody, the buzz, the excitement.
It's almost like it's normal.
It
First year,
It is.
I mean, that
and
it's back to being normal.
yes, and everybody's excited to get going. I understand you mentioned some enrollment numbers. We did have one school up there that crossed the 1,000 student mark. So that's
Yes, we did.
yes, and that's elementary school. But it's going to be a great year. I also had the opportunity yesterday. Mr. McInnes gave me an invite to go visit with the North End Transportation team. I'll just tell you this: our school bus drivers, our maintenance, school bus maintenance workers, everybody that's involved with transportation. I just got a good feeling in there yesterday. Everybody seemed to be ready to go. They understand the struggles. We understand the struggles, but at the end of the day, those bus drivers, the mechanics, everybody involved with transportation, their number one priority is to pick your student up safely and bring them home safely. And that's the commitment that we have with our school bus drivers and everybody that works in transportation. Like Mr. Horton said, the schedules are online. Any questions or concerns about your schedule, please reach out to the district or your school to begin with, and then or Mr. McInnes, and we can help you through that process. But Mr. Horton, I would like to ask a question. Is there something exciting happening to our webpage over the next couple of days?
So we've been working this summer. Exciting is a good word.
Okay.
We've been working this summer to transition.
Okay.
I think the web pages across the district and those who are responsible for updating those have done a great job throughout the years. What we're doing in conjunction with our transition to Focus is transitioning to a new look of a web page. All the materials and all the information will still be there, but it's a kind of a more dynamic look, and it also will be consistent across schools. So when you go to your elementary students' web page, it will have the same look, and you'll be able to see the same kind of information in the same places. Schools will still absolutely be able to put on school-specific information, but then when I go and look at my middle school child's web page, it will look the same. So it's an easier way to operate your web page. Principals and those who have administrative control will be able to post to their web page from anywhere, their cell phone. If they're at an event and they see something happening great in terms of kids hits a home run, they can post that to their web page right there. All of it too, and another important piece of this, and we've been doing this all along, but all of our web pages are required to be ADA compliant. So if someone needs to have audio with it or some other format to help with a situation, the web pages across the state of Florida in education have to be ADA compliant, and we've been doing that, but this just gives us a better overall approach to making sure that that stays updated, because every once in a while a school might put a picture on their website that has some text on it, and then that wouldn't be readable by a particular individual. So this will make sure that is taken care of fully.
All right. And if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Demers, if any of the board members would like to take a preview, is there a way we can look at it beforehand? Is that? Okay. All right. And this will go live?
Sometime tomorrow,
Okay.
potentially.
We're starting that process tonight.
Okay. All right. All right.
And it could take anywhere from, once the Apogee receives our push of the new site, it could take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes once they send out the security.
All right. And if you don't mind sending us that link, that
Sure.
would be great, so we can get a preview of it. So, but thank you for all your hard work as always. So thank you.
course.
Yeah. And everybody involved in that process. And one final note, tomorrow night, Big Red Machine is going to be doing their annual Meet the Band night. I know other bands across the county are. I just know tomorrow night I was invited to go, along with all of us have been invited to go. But go support your bands at all your schools. This is a great opportunity to see these kids have been working hard. And you talk about the heat. All these kids have been out in the heat all summer long preparing for these big nights that they're having. And, you know, part of the excitement of Friday Night Lights is the halftime shows, you know, and these kids work hard, the band directors work hard. So if you have an opportunity to go visit your school's Beat the Band night or Beat the Band, however they do it, go out there and support them. And I promise you, you'll be glad that you went out there to check it out, because it is a great event. So, and it's open to the public. Anybody's welcome to come. So tomorrow night at Jack Foster Stadium for the Big Red Machine Meet the Band night at 7 o'clock. All right, so now we'll run down to section 16, and this is the 2-minute version of public comment. And then we do have a couple of public hearings on Monday night. 17.1, public hearing for adoption of revised school board policies, Chapter 8, personnel instructional. And then 17.2, public hearing for adoption of revised school board policies, Chapter 9, personnel, administrative, and managerial. So we'll go around the room. Mr. Butler, Mr. Strong, Dr. Hale, Ms. Lightbourne, Ms. Perry. All right, this meeting's adjourned.
Woo-hoo.